Well, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Town Hall Day. Yay, I agree, yay, yay. How many of you, this is your first Town Hall? Oh, welcome. Please stand, tell us your history. No, just kidding. Just kidding, just kidding. And Brian Garber, this is not your first Town Hall. I should make you come up and present. Well, welcome everyone. If this is your first town hall, you will know, as is our tradition or way here at Menno Haven, we always begin with a word of prayer. So I'll have Chaplain Lori come up and get ready to bless our time together.
I just want to welcome us all to this warm place of shelter. It's good to be together, and let us pray. Lord, I thank you that on a winter day that we can be here together in person here in this place of warmth. And Lord, for those who are watching, I just ask that, Lord, you would continue to bless them right where they're at. Thank you that we have so many ways of communicating. And so I just pray that you would just bless us all as we listen, as we share, as we continue to build a better community. Lord, thank you that we can show love to one another and to all of those around us and just share hope for the future. Not just the future, for now, Lord. And I just thank you that you are at the center of what we're doing. And I just pray that you'd bless each person who presents. And I pray that you would just bring clarity as we communicate with one another. I pray a special blessing upon Tiffany as she leads and as she guides us. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Thank you. All right. Well, this is what happens around here at Menno Haven. We get spoiled. So this morning, I was spoiled at Chambers Point because I learned a new word or phrase today. And what is it? It's a confidence monitor. And on the podium at Chambers Point was a cool little screen that I could see the PowerPoint confidence monitor. So I do not have that here. So now I might fall off the stage. So you'll need to tell me if I'm not keeping up and if the slides aren't going as they should be. I believe the first slide that's up is introducing you all to two new board members. Cool thing is it the right one? Okay. Cool thing is that one of the folks on this slide is actually present today. So Sherry Stahl has joined the board here in 2026. I'm going to make you stand. Super awkward. I'm sorry. So Sherry is present today. Sitting alongside her is also Wayne Yeager, who is a current board member as well. Yes. See, you get to stand too. And I also want to publicly acknowledge Paula Warner. Paula, are you back? You were here this morning. There you are. Paula, please rise. Thank you. Paula is your resident Menno Haven board member. And as, again, is our way here at Menno Haven, resident board member is a board member, has the voting rights as any other board of director. And Paula, listen. I'm going to have to create a medal for you because I think Paula attends more meetings than I do. So Paula, a part of her role is attending all of the councils. She sat through town hall this morning and is back gracing us with her presence again this afternoon. I want to thank you on behalf of the residents for just your commitment and always being that ear. So thank you for that. Matt Nolt is also pictured on this screen. If he looks familiar, he was a board member, went off for a short period of time. We twisted not so hard to have him come back. I'm really excited to have his voice around the board table again and enjoy his presence. I've had one meeting with Sherry present at the table, and of course, Wayne knows more about Menno Haven than I do. So I just truly appreciate the board members being here today. and of course, their commitment to furthering the mission of Menno Haven as well. All right. Now, this is probably going to move on its own. Did it? Oh, see, Corey, you're so cool. So this was actually, I stole this from Corey Kidwell from Grounds. This was a presentation, a piece of it, not all of it, a piece of it. So the Grounds Department completed 11,000, nope, too quick. I'm not done. I'm not ready. 11,809 work orders. So that's not mowing the grass, trimming the trees, and pulling weeds, right? That's on addition of maintaining. So he presented that to his team. There's some great pictures in here. This was the great tree that fell on the roof of the 250 building. He let us know that they installed 825 yards of mulch, 3 inches deep. And that is how many football? 2 football fields. Of course, they worked on beginnings of the landscaping up the main entrance here at the Brookview community, which I think is looking pretty cool. And I love this little thing down in the corner, an average of 16 plants planted each week the entire year long. So our grounds crew, they're a little busy, right? A little busy. So I'm showing you these slides because this is a part of the presentation that I provided to the board. We also kind of went through it with our Menno Haven leadership team. It's just a simple, quick little snapshot of the things that happened in 2025, okay? I'm going the wrong way. See, I need a confidence monitor. So we had a little water issue. If you're new to Menno Haven, we had a flooding incident in our Brookview Healthcare Center. So even though there's not a light, the floor looks really shiny. That's not tile floor, that's inches of water. This next picture is going to show you how it got in there. So this was the water perusing down and entering into the building. Ryan will talk to you a little bit as he recaps our finances for 2025, how this flooding event impacted pretty much every area here at Menno Haven. In 2025, we were able to renew our tax pilot program. So I'm going to preach to you like I preached at Chambers Point this morning. Menno Haven pays their taxes, okay? So if you have been a part of the community here at Chambersburg years ago, in our wondrous public opinion newspaper, we were the headline news for a while. And it was everything from Menno Haven doesn't want to pay taxes or don't think they should. It just was a pretty good hit to our reputation. That whole conversation and ensued a court hearing was that communities like Menno Haven that offer care, especially for those that outlive their funds and need to have assistance through Medicaid, there are communities like us that are tax exempt, meaning they do not pay real estate tax. So leadership and management at that time felt that we should have a piece of that pie. And that just did not go well. So the myth out there is that we don't want to pay our taxes or we don't pay our taxes. My friend Ryan will confirm that we pay $2.5 million a year in real estate taxes, and we are the 4th largest taxpayer in the county. And we have the canceled check to prove it, okay? However, we have entered in an agreement with the municipalities and the school district, and they are willing to give us a 7.5% discount on the parcels, just the parcels, not Menno Haven wide, but just the parcels that have our healthcare areas. So if you look on the tax roll, there's going to be about 35 parcels altogether that Menno Haven owns. Just the parcels that have the Brookview Healthcare Center, Chambers Point Healthcare Center, just those get the 7.5% on just that parcel. Okay? Menno Haven pays their taxes, $2.5 million a year, 4th largest payer in the county. Okay? Crush that myth when you hear your neighbors talking about it. I'm a little passionate about it. Our tech ops, they have been busy. We actually had to implement a new phone system, Menno Haven wide, and they also had to install about 150 new laptops. So these are the laptops that the nurses use to do medication administration and all those things. So that was a pretty big feat for them to take on, and that has all been accomplished. So we drive some buses around here. We did over 5,000 transports. And you can see there sort of the breakdown from the slide of who's taking those trips, where all we go. And we have a couple volunteers, 270 volunteers altogether, and they've completed over 27,000 hours of volunteer works. That is amazing. Very, very amazing. We had did some wellness classes. 2,241 to be in fact. 329 of them were in the pool, and over 1,900 of those were exercise and stretching classes. And is Georgina Ruth here? Is she here? She's in Myrtle Beach? Boo. Well, I don't have... Oh, there it is. Can you see this? This is Georgina. Look at that form right there. I mean, is that just excellent form? Every time that picture comes up, I'm impressed. So I was going to give her a shout out today. Looking great. The Menno Haven Auxiliary contributed over $103,000 in enhancements and services back to Menno Haven. So this is just a list of just some of the things that were provided here on the Brookview campus, as well as the Chambers Point campus, and then, of course, in all communities. I'm especially proud of the scholarship program because that goes to our team members for them to continue to further whatever education they may be interested in. Our community nurses kept busy. You can see the variety of things that they have coordinated, as well as 2 health fairs, spring and fall, all of the shots, the clinics, 444 lab draws. So just lots of things happening within the community nursing areas. So 10-year refurbishment. So if you are an independent living resident, you know that you qualify after you are in your unit for 10 years for a refurbishment. This is just an interesting way for us to kind of track and see how many folks are eligible for that, how many folks take advantage of that, what are they getting done. It's also a way for us to manage and try to predict how much capital expenditure we're going to have each year. So we like to report, how many folks were eligible, and 11 out of the 18 accepted. This also us managing our capital expenditure for refurbishments of units that are released and then refurbished, or what we call renovate, and put back out on the market for new neighbors to come in. So you can see the numbers there as well. 46 total move-ins in 2025 into independent living. My friend Denise, hello. Do you want to talk about this?
Thank you. Hi, all. Okay, so I always think that you want to know how busy has our marketing and sales team been over the past year. So we were able to track 908 brand new leads to Menno Haven. Of those 908, 167 actually came in and did their initial tour with us. And out of that 167, we had 34 of them come back for repeat tours. And so what we look at them as our strongest candidates for our Now Club, our Neighbors on the Way. To get those initial tours, we fielded about 2,300 telephone calls and had over 4,800 emails back and forth to get them to come in to make that decision to tour with us. Our top lead score sources, is our website and our social media presence. So that's where we're tracking most of those leads to have come from. But number 2 on its tail is the community knowledge. So what that is that's residents like you who have continued to have conversations with your friends and family members, encouraging them to learn more about Menno Haven. So community knowledge is based on all of you. So thank you guys for that. So the other fun fact is that of those 167, those who choose to make the move to Menno Haven take on average 1,078 days to actually physically get moved in. That's 3 years. How many of you said when you came into the marketing office, I'm going to, we're on the 3 to 5, 7, 10-year plan, right? So it is kind of true, but let's remember backing into that is about a 4-month time period of refurbishment for the unit. So anyway, and then the other fun fact is that our average age for last year's 46 move-ins was 79.68, so almost 80 years old. So we had some youngsters and we had some others. Mature. Tiffany uses her word mature. So I just thought that that would be some fun information for you to know about how much activity has gone on to get your 46 new residents.
Perfect. Thank you. Denise will come back up a little later and talk some more about community life. But I want to take the opportunity over the next few minutes, as you know, is my way, and I'm very passionate about it, is that, we want to be very transparent here at Menno Haven. So if there's things on my mind or things that I'm feeling or hearing, I want to bring it up, and I want us to talk about it, and I want us to be able to work through it together as a community. So I want to talk a little bit, or just give you a little snippet of what I teach our new employees. This Saturday, I will be in new employee orientation. That means the new employees will be trapped in a windowless room with me for a few hours. And we are going to talk about the history of Menno Haven. We're going to talk about the mission, hospitality. And then in the afternoon, we board the bus and we go on tour. And we are in every building. I walk their legs off in the afternoon. And, it's always great to, we debrief at the end, and I ask the question of, what did you learn today, or was there anything that surprised you today? And they're like, especially this weekend group, because they're usually young kids, they're like, oh, we had no idea how big this place was, right? We weren't prepared. But they also say things like, man, everybody was so friendly and everybody is so happy, and, they see it, they can sense it. And honestly, I believe that the mission of Menno Haven is that secret sauce of why that feeling is felt. So to remind you of what the mission is, it's that we here at Menno Haven will be an innovative organization that nurtures the human spirit, is passionate about service, and demonstrates God's love one person at a time. So a part of that presentation, we take that entire mission statement and we break it down phrase by phrase. So what I'm showing you on the screen here is me breaking down the statement that nurtures the human spirit. And how we say that comes alive here at Menno Haven is that we give all people the same dignity and respect we expect for ourselves. And for me, I usually quiz the group about, what does it look like when someone respects you? And that's sometimes hard to describe. It's a little easier in our human brains to describe, when someone disrespects you, right? We can rattle that off, how that is. But how do you know when someone truly respects you? So it opens up an opportunity for some great conversation. The next slide I want to talk about is the 4 C's. All right. And the 4 C's is how we here at Menno Haven express our Christianity. And I don't have a very good poker face, but I always try to be real, serious. And I look them all dead in the eye and I'm like, you all know you have to be Christians to work here, right? And I'm going to need you to give me your baptism card and tell me how often you go to church, right? And I'm straining, because I watch the blood drain from some people's faces. And then I say to them, as a resident, only residents who are Christians can move in here to Menno Haven, right? And they're like, and it takes them a while to warm up to me, but then, and I'm like, guys, I'm not serious. I can't even hardly keep a straight face to say that. However, we are a faith-based organization. We are unapologetically a Mennonite faith-based organization. And so that's going to mean that there are going to be times like today where we open in prayer. That means in our mission statement, we are going to say, we're going to demonstrate God's love one person at a time. And if that offends you, team member, too bad. This isn't the place for you, right? And, so we talk through what that really means. So these 4 C's, did it move? Does it say that? Okay. The 4 C's are character, collaboration, culture, and change. And so I want to break that down. Character, that means we are trustworthy and always strive to do the right thing. As a team member, I question them, don't you want to work alongside people who are trustworthy and always striving to do the right thing? And a brave soul will go, well, yeah, I do. Don't you, as a resident, want to live at a community that is trustworthy and always striving to do the right thing? Yes, right? And though we are not perfect, when we screw up, I'm going to stand in front of you and say, man, I screwed up. Or we screwed up, or we missed the mark. And then we're going to build and grow from it. So character. The next one is collaboration. Is that right? Did it change? Okay. We are committed to work together and to learn from each other. We are committed to work together and to learn from each other. I look at this from a resident standpoint and say we are committed to live by each other and learn from each other. Okay? Culture. We care about the people we work with and the people that we serve. I think that it's evident to me that team members that choose to work at Menno Haven, and I'm very blunt with them, and I remind them that we are in the people business. If they don't like people, this isn't going to work. I won't run from them or be mean to them. I would just lovingly say, let's find you something else to do because it's not going to work here, right? But we are in a people business, and the team members that choose to come to be a part of this culture, I think innately have the desire to follow the mission. The challenge is that we have to be clear on the expectation that they have to live the mission towards each other as team members as well, right? Not just to the paying customer, but towards each other as team members. Right? So we care about the people we work with and the people we serve. And then the final one is change. We are open to change when change is beneficial. We also do an exercise, and I put this dignity statement or this vision statement up on the wall. Oh, I want to go back, just so you're clear. We also talk about this word right here, that Anabaptist word. And I educate folks that it's not anti. We love the Baptists, right? And we talk about it being Latin and meaning again and what that means. And they get a little mini history lesson from me, but just so everybody knows, okay? So dignity of life, this vision statement, creating a living environment that nurtures meaning and purpose, promotes individual lifestyles, provides supportive services, and fosters home. And the exercise here is that I give everybody a marker, we write on the walls, and I make them put their name on the wall, and then we ask things like, hey, are you a night owl or a morning person? Do you like movies or TV series? If I walked into your home today, what would it smell like? Describe your home to me in 2 words. If tomorrow was your day off and you had no responsibilities, what would you do? Right? What are 2 things that bring you joy? And you can't say family or friends, that's a given. 2 things that bring you joy. And tell me something you're brand loyal to. Right? You're brand loyal. And that always gets the big discussion about Heinz ketchup and mayonnaise. Never fails. Right? But it's a great way to break the ice, and it really, really engages, conversation. And we'll have the iPhone people look at the Android phone people and go, right? And, and back and forth it goes. And at the end, when they, I've come up with all these crazy questions off the top of my head. And, they have this whole list, we have this second, and I'm like, so think about the residents who live here at Menno Haven, how would they answer those questions? And it's powerful, but it goes back to dignity. So when I talk about being transparent, I've heard some rumblings, and I have been in a lot of discussions. I think I might even have heightened my voice at one point. And so I want to just kind of put it out there for everyone, because it's important to me that, again, because we all live under the same bubble of Menno land, that we get out in the open things that have maybe caused concern. And I want to preface this that I'm going to talk about our Northgate building, but I don't have a problem with anybody at the Northgate building. Or do I believe that there's a bad peoples at the Northgate building? But I want to talk about a situation that could be occurring or could have occurred or could occur at any one of our areas here at Menno Haven, and because I truly think it links to our mission here. So this is a memo that I've asked the council president to place in the council minutes for the Northgate building. And I'm just going to not ad lib, so I'm telling the truth. Management has heard the ongoing concern about parking for the Northgate residents who reside in Wing 2. We have also heard the concern about the number of handicap parking spaces outside Wing 2 entrance and the unique parking spaces for residents in the back parking lot as well. It is my understanding that when the building was designed and then built in 2008, the thought process was that there would not be as many folks preferring to drive as we currently have living in the building today. Management has promised to evaluate the overall parking situation and look for opportunities that are both reasonable and feasible. As of today, there are no solid plans, but please know that we will continue to attempt to find solutions that will make sense. Before any significant changes would be implemented, we will bring potential opportunities to you. I want to resurface my expectations of Menno Haven residents treating each other with dignity and respect. I am keenly aware of the heightened sensitivity folks may feel when a neighbor parks in a designated handicap parking space for significant amounts of time. As humans, our senses help us form judgments. Our senses, eyes, ears, nose, touch, right? If my eyes see someone parking in the handicap space with a handicap placard in plain view, and they get out and they easily walk toward the building, what my eyes may tell my brain is, that person walks fine. Why are they parking in that space? But if I pause and reflect, I actually have no clue what someone may be dealing with on a daily basis or even just that day. A resident of this building recently received an anonymous letter in their mailbox with the above example. The resident was seen traversing the community, but had parked in the handicap space with their placard in clear view. The unsigned letter mentioned that the resident is seen walking about, and the note could be interpreted that they should not park in the designated space to avoid making enemies. This unsigned letter was perceived as threatening and caused the resident to feel watched and scrutinized, even though they were within their rights by law. One of the sentiments that I hear residents routinely tell me about their feelings while living at Menno Haven is a sense of security and it being a true haven. This unfortunate decision to anonymously confront a neighbor about their actions has removed this resident's sense of safety and community. I am hopeful that the person who slipped the letter was not leading with ill intent, but trying to bring their opinion to the attention of their neighbor. I want to encourage all Menno Haven residents that if true conflicts are being felt or happen between neighbors, the team at Menno Haven is available to sit down and mitigate and will work hard to find agreeable solutions. I would also ask that we as a community work hard to self-reflect on potential bias and be willing to accept differing opinions and values are what make us human. And I go on to say I appreciate the residents of Northgate being so vested in not only Menno Haven, but their building as a communal unit. And I'm hopeful that we as management, of course, will come to a solution. So after this was brought to my attention, the question was asked as to what is Menno Haven's policy for residents on conflict resolution? And honestly, I don't want to say there's board members here. I can't say I'm not a rule follower. I do follow the rules. But I do bristle a little bit when we have to have policies about being good neighbors. And I bristle about having to write a policy on how to come together and work and be patient and keep differing opinions to ourselves. So I'm not sure at this point if I'm willing to step up and make a formal policy on conflict resolution, because I am hoping that as residents, you will continue to see the leadership lead by example of always having an open door and a willingness to always come and surround whatever is going on to come up with a plan for a solution. So I need to continue to process that, but I just want to give you sort of a heads up of what's one of the things that have come across my desk, and encourage you that, if you are going to leadership and are not being heard, you come to me. And we will continue to work and work and work until we can get a solution. Okay? All right, I'll get off my soapbox now. I want to also transition real quickly into giving you sort of a little glimpse of what we're calling the 3 to 5 year strategic plan. And this 3 to 5 year strategic plan, the inspiration comes right from those 4 C's that I just talked to you about: character, collaboration, culture, and change. So if you have lived at Menno Haven for some time and lived through what we called Project Genesis, right? Project Genesis is how this or why this building was built. The Brookview Healthcare Center was built. The rehab, the addition of the activity area at the Chambers Point Healthcare Center, the memory homes, the service center. Did I forget something? The what? Oh, the 100s. Yeah, you people moved in. Yeah, of course. That's sort of important. Yes. Did I catch it all? There was a lot of building happened. And then after Project Genesis was completed, we then brought to light Operation Bloom. And Operation Bloom was that next step to a strategic plan, and you'll recall the Bloom, B-L-O-O-M. The B was for build culture, the L is for legacy, one of the O's was opportunities for outreach and inclusion, the other O was organizational technology, and the M was for modernization. Now that strategic plan was very complex and, in my opinion, was very broad. One of the statements within that strategic plan was that we will become a center of excellence for dementia. Go. Figure it out. It's hard. It's very broad. So I like things a little more in line, as well as given a deadline. So we've kind of taken the things that were top priorities, simplified, and are putting them into this 3 to 5 year plan. All right? Okay. So here's the framework. So going forward, any strategic decisions that are made need to fall within these pillars. And I'm calling them the 4 C's, all right, of our strategic plan. The first C is culture engaged. Engaged team members, leadership development, recognition, and career pathways. If we do not have a solid foundation for team members that are happy and engaged and are always pushing forward, I don't believe our residents will be happy. All right? We have to have that core foundation of team members that are engaged. We need to have a focus on clinical outcomes that are prioritized. That's talking about high quality, data-driven, person-centered care. Our third C is cost control, financial stewardship, efficiency, and sustainability. And the final C is census enhanced, being market responsive to growth and diversified service. Census is our occupancy, the folks that are here within each area and the amount that are contributing to the bottom line. Okay? So to break this down, in year one, so this is the year that we are in, we are saying that we want to come up with a plan for the 200s cottages. So you will recall that the 200s cottages are to your right. They are our oldest independent living units. They are 50% occupied, and we need to figure out why. And we need to figure out what does that future for that area look like. So I want to be still the heart of anyone that lives in the 200s. We're not coming with the bulldozer, right? And we're just simply saying that in this year, we need to figure out what is exactly going to be the future within that area. We want to evaluate our therapy services. Currently, our therapy services is a contract company, and we want to assure that the contract is solid and able to get us into the future. I want to enhance the spa and salon services. We have a beautiful refurbished salon at Chambers Point. We have a perky, cute little salon at the Village Square, and we have a drop-dead gorgeous salon upstairs at the Life Center that 2.5 people use. That's unacceptable to me. So the salon and the stylists are again contracted by a third party. So here in this year, we really want to evaluate what does that look like? Is that what's best? Can we negotiate? Can we figure out how to get folks comfortable coming to our salons and make that a thriving and a live spot? Okay. We want to look at our online training platform and have that optimized for our team members. Our team members around the outside wall will tell you they can't wait to sit down and strap in at a computer for 6 hours and do online training. It's the best day ever. So we need to figure out how to make that less painful. Our recognition awards. As team members here at Menno Haven, we figured out that events and platforms and themes have a lifespan of about 3 years. So by year 3, our team members start to drop off attending special events. So, and the first year we take out something new, it's hopping. So it's been evident to us that we have to keep rebranding and keeping it fresh. And then cost controls, by year 1 here in 2026, we are going to figure out a purchasing and inventory platform. The uniqueness thing for us here at Menno Haven is that we are too small to implement inventory and purchasing platform like hospitals have, right? Because we're not that big, but we're too big to have nothing like we have now. So we're in a little bit of a weird spot that we are bound and determined by the end of the year, we're going to have that nailed down. Looking ahead to year 3, we want to again have a solid plan on the modernization of Village Square. We have heard from many of you that it is just not going to be okay coming from your independent living areas and moving into assisted living, personal care into such a small space. So we know that the Village Square is hot on our radar, and we'll work to get a plan to have her modernized. We want to work diligently in the next 3 years to partner with local university or college for career ladders and leadership development, again, for our team. We want folks to be lifers here, careers here. And that can occur if we can come alongside them and partner with, higher education as well as skills areas to continue to keep valuable team members here at Menno Haven. I would like to increase the culinary center production. That is a very high-end, lots of equipment, our culinary center and the rehab. And can we leverage that space and equipment for a revenue source? I'm hopeful. And then by year 3, we want to say that we've increased our profitability by 5% per year based on a contribution margin. And then by year 5, we want to have the plan for the Chambers Point campus future growth, what could and may potentially happen at Chambers Point, as well as have a plan for what the green space behind Northgate is going to be. and what should be developed there, as well as the expansion of home and community-based services. So home and community-based services, I sat with the team at Elder Day last evening, and we talked about, nothing would make me happier that by year 5, we already have a plan in place to build a new Elder Day because they're busting at the seams, right? Because they were busting at the seams prior to COVID. They were begging me for a bigger building. And then COVID really, really knocked us out there. But she's coming back slowly but surely. And we'll talk a little bit more about that with other presentations. So I'm going to pass the baton. We're going to hold the questions to the end because we have a lot more to get through. I'll have Ryan come up, give us a finance update. And then again, I want to take any of your questions at the end. Okay?
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here this afternoon. Okay, before I get started, I do want to say the numbers that are being presented here today are December 31st numbers. They're unaudited. We are currently in the process of having our financials audited. That won't be completed until the end of February here. With it. But I am happy to report that we did meet our 2 bond required covenants. With that, they've definitely been affected by the Brookview Healthcare Center flooding this year. The debt service coverage ratio here is at 1.31. Our required is 1.2. Had we not had that flooding, we'd probably be looking at about a 1.5, a little bit bigger window there for it. Days cash on hand, we're sitting at 309. Required is 150 days. So we're more than double what is needed there. Okay, as we look at this, operating revenue for the year came in at $64.1 million. We were about $100,000 unfavorable to budget. Again, we know we're missing over $2 million due to our reduced census from the Brookview Healthcare Center. So definitely had a negative impact. Total operating expenses of $75 million, unfavorable to budget, $1.7 million. Of that, where's most of it at? We've got $800,000 sitting in labor-related expenses. I can tell you that at the beginning of this year, we renegotiated our workers' comp for a savings of $200,000 that we did realize in 2025. We also renegotiated our health insurance. Over 3 years, that's going to equate to us $1.2 million savings, but that didn't really start until the new plan year, which began on October 1st. Of this 2025. I want to say this year, but we're in 2026. And then the others are in, electricity that has gone up, property taxes have gone up, building maintenance and just in general has gone up with those. So those are the big areas for that 1.7 million. If we look at our non-operating, you're going to see it's 7.2 million, favorable to budget, 7 million. This is going to be related to the market. We had 3.6 million in unrealized gains. If you looked at the market for 2025 versus 2024, the Dow was up about 13%, the S&P 16%, and the NASDAQ was up 20%. So the market was very good to us with our investments in 2025. And then if we go to the bottom there, our decrease in net assets is 3.6 million, favorable to budget 4.6. But again, the gains and unrealized gains was really the driver to help that overall number. This slide here, I know we hand out financials with numbers, but sometimes it's easier to see it in a graph, and we've been asked for that information before. So if you take, does this got a pointer on it? Okay, those 3 quadrants right there, it's going to be Medicare, Medicare Advantage, MA, private pay, skilled, and rehab. Those 3 make up our healthcare center, or the 2 healthcare centers and rehab. That accounts for about 39% of our revenue. The second one that accounts for the most revenue is our personal care and memory care. And then contract amortization's another 15%, and independent living is just under 15%. So those are our top 4 revenue areas. And then this one actually takes and looks at the expenses, that $75 million. And as you can see, the labor there is half of it with it. So it's important as we go forwards that we're looking at FTEs and controlling costs where we can as we go forwards. The next largest full-time equivalent employees. We actually have about 480 at any given point. If Tori was here, I think that equates to about 650 head count with that. But our second largest expense is depreciation. And this is non-cash because we've already paid for assets. We just got to depreciate it over its useful life. But the third largest expense is interest. As everybody's aware, we did take $126 million worth of debt out in 2018 and 2019. The interest that we pay yearly is about $6 million. To pay principal and interest, we're about $6.7 million a year. And those won't retire until 2053 and 2054. So just wanted to keep that at the forefront. And then the fourth largest is nursing and resident services. And then the fifth would be our just SG&A, sales, general, and administration. And then we've got some smaller ones out there. Again, Tiffany had talked about property taxes being $2.5 million with it. So as we, I got one more slide here. And then this one actually shows us what our expense has been per day for the last 5 years. If we go back to 2021, we were at $141,000 a day. At the end of 2025, it was $177,000 per day. If we look at 2024, we were sitting at $170,000, so we did have an increase this year of 4.6%. So we still got work to do as we are looking at our expenses. Leadership is continuing to see where we can cut costs. We're continuously looking at our vendors and contracts to see what we can do. I know Roger this year renegotiated one of our contracts for a savings of over $200,000, and we've got to continue that to control costs. Up next, Chuck.
Well, good afternoon. I'm going to tell you right away, I tell Tiff, I hate to come up here. I want to be down there because I can't see this thing. And about every time I fall off, but she said, I like to walk around. She says, Chuck, as much as you move, you're going to make people dizzy. You stand up here. So I'm going to do the best I can. I want to tell you a little bit about what we did last year because I think it's very important that you know that the dollars you give are put to work to benefit you, and that it's a very worthwhile program. When someone comes to see you from out of town, they say, "What restaurant do you recommend?" Well, someone asked me that, my mind goes blank. And Allie and I were trying to put this together, and what did we do last year? I said, I don't know. We did so much. So we start going through emails and publications, but we covered about every area here, from the dog park to Branch Creek to Elder Day. You just go on, benevolence. There was a lot that went on. It kind of makes me a little dizzy, but it's been highly successful because of you. We are a philanthropic organization. Very, very few nonprofits in this country meet those standards. Everyone chips in and supports. That's why we're successful. Just a few of the funds that have been successful. The benevolence was outstanding this year. We had a couple of states that came in and helped that. Mahif, $211,000. That's the Menno Employee Appreciation. And that was divided between all our employees, about 600, except for the leadership group. And it was greatly appreciated. Menno Cares, I'm going to cover a little more about that. Hope House, we raised $245,000. I'll tell you, as raising funds in this county for 50 years, this was probably my toughest one, because this was one that wasn't directly for the benefit of the residents, and it was off campus, but it benefited a team member, and we pulled it off. Close, but we pulled it off, and we have a great relationship with Habitat for Humanities. Hopefully, they help us, we help them. A little bit about the figures. It's pretty amazing. 1,825 donations were booked last year. It was a substantial for an organization of our size. 64% of the independent, and rather than individual, we say households, donated this year. Last year, it was 52%. It keeps going up. Now, my goal is 100%. Now, I hope to be here for a long time, but my years are running out, so let's hurry up. But I think we can make it. We gave away from our care program $97,000 to 90 team members that have come to us for all kind of situation. They need help. As you know, it's a tough world out there. It could be for medical bills. It could be for car repairs. It could be to feed their children. And we have come through, but it continues to increase this year, and I'm sure this year it'll be more. Let's see here. We did 16 projects, which I'm going to cover, and benevolence was one of the best years ever in our 62-year history. We raised, I can't even hardly see that, over $1.1 million, and we paid out about 900-some thousand for benevolence. Probably the first time we have raised more than we spent. That extra money will go into, we have an endowment trust fund to be there for future years. So highly successful, and I think all of you know what the benevolent fund couldn't be a better thing to give to. Okay, here are some of the things. I'm going to go through them all, but when I looked at them, I said, how do we get those done? Because a lot of times, I'll be honest with you, residents come to see me and tell me what they want done, and they leave the office. I said, well, I'll try, but I have no idea how we're going to do that. But as I've told my kids, my grandkids, you're not sure what you're going to do. They get into a job or something. You put one foot here, another foot. Your foot goes in a hole one time, pull it out, or you hit a wall, go around it. And we were able to accomplish all these things. The dog park gazebo, good parties down there on nice days at 4 o'clock. Get quite a group. The residents enjoy it, and the dogs love it. Chapel sound system, and I want to thank the chaplains, what they've put up with this last 6 months. Now, you may think that a sound system is simple. Not that simple. We raised over $100,000 to take care of the chapels. They're done, and at the end of this month, they'll be in to work on the whole system here. So we hope that we have it taken care of for a while. Got the new Tech Op van, Reflection Lake over at Chambers Point. We built a new pier because it was falling down. Had a number of alumni from Penn Hall Girls School that made donations to buy benches there to name after their classmates that passed. Nativity scene, I guess you saw it. I had a number of residents come in. The first resident came last April, and I said, can you come back in September? I'm not quite in the mood right now. So she did, and we found donors to pay for that. We have 2. One day I got a call that says, Chuck, there's a chicken down here in one, a red chicken. I said, oh, you're pulling my leg, aren't you? And they said, no. So I jumped in the car, went down, dang, going, there's a chicken there. I get back, phone rings. Another resident said, there's a chicken that's running around campus. I said, well, I know it's around here, but I don't think it's running around. Every once in a while, someone would move the chicken, okay? So anyway, it's supposed to be there, but I researched it. Depends on where you are in the world. You can put camels in there, tigers, or whatever you want, whatever you're happy with. The beauty salon at had a resident over there that paid to gut the whole thing and do it over. It is super. Let's see what things you'd know about. And the Colory golf carts. It was fun working on those. We raised the money for them. We got the boxes on the back specially built to keep it hot, to keep it cool. And we really, Ryan, he's usually tight with money. Oh, he wanted them souped up with green wheels and steering wheels. And he was like a kid. He doesn't give money away easily. And, of course, we built the Hope House. One thing might seem small, but we had a number of residents that for years asked at the Renaissance, the pool downstairs, believe it or not, there are 7 doors to get in. And none of them had automatic openers. If you had a wheelchair or you had a walker, it was about impossible. Had a donor there, and it was about $35,000 pay to get them all done. And it has made such an improvement in many of our residents' lives. And of course, I'm going to be talking about this here more in a minute, but the Life Center patio furniture, that furniture is outstanding. And it's not cheap. It should last at least 100 years. I hope. But there's some things and there's going to be a lot more, because I know I already had 2 calls this week from different residents. They said, we want to see you next week. They got some ideas, so I knew ideas could cost money. But I never know what's coming up, and that's what makes it exciting. Some things we already know about. We'd like to do a music therapy program. It's about $20,000 a year to do in the healthcare centers, personal care, the memory care home. It provides a lot of improvement to the lives of those there. And I'm hoping we can do it. It runs about $20,000 a year. We have, I'll call it the interactive, can't pronounce the word, projection system. Just got those last week over at the healthcare center at Penn Hall. I don't know how to describe it. It's lights. We have a portable one you roll around. You have one you put in the ceiling. It throws lights down. People in wheelchairs can play soccer. You can play on a table hand games that helps your coordination, your thought process. And I played it, and I was really intrigued. So we think that'll increase their life. A lot of them don't get out at all. A new leisure van. As you know, we go on a lot of trips. We've been looking at some vans now. We want to make sure that they're easy to get in and out of. It's always been a problem. That they're comfortable, and I have a resident who's considering buying, but they aren't cheap. So we're hoping we can get one real soon. The Brookview Rec Room, it's down, where the wood shop is at Northgate? The other half is a rec room, and they have a couple ping pong tables. They have it made up into a nice place, and they play tough. We've had to put rubber on the walls. I mean, they play it like football. And but it's kind of noisy, so we are raised. It doesn't cost a lot, but it's very noisy. They want us to do something about it. So a couple years ago, they wanted us there's a room at Chambers Point that they wanted a rec room there. One of the daughters of a resident wanted to bring the sound down a little. So I got on the internet, I searched the country. Where do I find these soundproof things? And I found out that over back at Norland Pub on Ramsey Avenue is a company called Soundproof Cow. They're one of the top in the country. They make them. They came over, laid it all out, and that's what we're going to do at the rec room. There's going to be about 50 panels that will absorb. It's amazing sound, and you can get pictures, paint them on anything you want. Let's see here. The wood shop. We've had a number of residents want us to get steps. Right outside there, there's a hill it goes down, and it goes over to a pathway up here, the Life Center. So we raised about half the money to do that. A thing we're going to start is the beautification committee. Back in early 2000, we started a committee, mainly at Brookview, and we had a resident who had a lot of energy, a lot of vision, Janie Mears, and she did a tremendous job, but she died in 2006, and committee was going great till then. And they did all those, and that's just a few projects. And they'd have one or two beautification days, and they plant plants everywhere, bring in VOTEC, bring in youth groups from the churches. They did so much. But about 2:15, if you don't have anybody to lead it, you got a problem. So it kind of died off. But we have some people, residents are interested, and we're going to have a meeting tomorrow with them, but we need more of it. If you have interest, I'm sure some of you do, and we need from Chambers Point, we're going to make it totally community-wide. Let us know. You'll have a lot of fun with this. And the event sound system, I spoke about that. Okay, the one I'm really excited about, and we all are, we put a lot of work into this. We talked to a number of companies to put call it a gazebo or whatever. It's roofing over the patio right out here. So many of you have said, it's hot out here, I'm going to get a sunburn. So we want you to do something. So we looked at a number of companies. We talked to one we were almost going to go with. They were called Sales. They're in like a triangle, and they're all colorful, but you'd have to take them down every year. And we came across this country. That's metal will last almost guaranteed forever. Their louvers automatically come open and close. There'll be speakers for a sound system. There'll be fans inside. It will be a real nice venue. It's going to cost about $350. I already raised some funds, but you've got to raise a lot more, just a little hint. And Ryan and I signed the contract, so I guess our jobs are on the line. We got to come up, yeah. Tiffany's shaking her head. So they had to order the materials, and we hope to have it done at least by mid-May, and so that you can enjoy it in the nice weather. So you'll be seeing more about this. Hopefully you can support it in one way or another. Okay, one thing we started in, I guess, the fall of last year is going after grants. Believe it or not, there's a lot of money out there, but it's a tough process. We're talking federal, state, we're talking municipalities, and we're talking private foundations. We are going after, we have one out there now with, it's a state LSA and redevelopment grant, applying for about $500,000 for a generator for this building. And hopefully we'll have it here, and hopefully we won't have an emergency, but if we need to have you all come to one place, it'll be here to generate the power. But it takes about a year to hear. We've sent in the application. Summit Health, we applied for funds to help us go back to 5 days, and we already got a $15,000 grant, and we applied for another state grant for Elder Day, and we're applying for $85,000. We haven't heard. The John B. Shook Foundation, they approached us in November. The executive director's been a friend for 50 years, and she said, "Chuck, do you want some money?" I said, "You're dang on right." And she said, "Well, I got some money to give away." Shook Home was sold in the last year. A for-profit bought it. So they had to put that money into a foundation for the community. And I know that they had a lot of trust. I was on the board 8 years there. They had millions in trust. That all went into there. And so they're giving, I think they gave to Mercy House. They gave us $20,000 for the care program. They had heard about this from their employees. So Barb Law, who's executive director, she said, "Chuck, do you want money next year?" I said, "I sure do." So she's coming in 2 weeks, and hopefully we can get some more dollars. The lottery, a lot of money out there in lottery grants. We're now working on a grant to apply about $80,000 to do the restrooms over at Branch Creek. They're not handicap qualified. We just got a small grant from Enterprise. That's where we lease a lot of our vans. we're looking for money for a leadership program for our staff and music therapy. We'd like to get that funded. And the neighborhood assistance program, we're working on that now. We need new flooring, and the building's pretty big at Branch Creek, and a heating system. And what that is the banks are kind of required. When I was in banking, we had a thing called the CRA, Community Reinvestment Act, to give money. What happens is they make a donation to us or commit, and they can get up to a 90% credit. Credit's a lot better than a deduction, so it's very profitable for the banking institution. So we're working on that now. We'll keep you updated. Let's see here. Estate planning, I always tell you this time of year, and I'm an estate planner, is think about it seriously. Each year, remember attorney used, when I do seminars, he'd tell them every January 1st, pull out your will, power of attorney and everything, make sure it's updated. Nobody does, but it's because things change in life. And make sure you got your will updated, that you have your power of attorney and your living will, because it's disastrous when you don't. I've settled hundreds of estates when I was with the trust company, and a lot of them didn't have wills, and we had to go to court. And the state of Pennsylvania has a will for you. You might not like it. So you need to get them updated. You can come see me before you go to your attorney, and I can help you. I'll save you a lot. I don't charge you anything, but tell you what they're going to be looking for. Okay, spiritual care. That reports to me. I don't do much. They do all the work, but I'd like to, Chaplain Lori, they did an outstanding job for almost a year under tough situations. Every Monday, Ryan and I would get an email to us updating us on Sunday service. And it was pretty tough a lot of times because they went through a lot. But the last one I got in the last week, they're pretty happy. And please keep that way, okay? Did a great job. But they have a lot of things coming up. It is coming up to the Easter holiday. Make sure that you can attend these. I mean, we're very lucky to have 4 chaplains here. I mean, that's what makes, one of the things makes Menno very special. Okay, I know Tiffany's saying, Chuck, get out of here. So she told me to keep it short. So there you go.
You can see he listens well. Tori was not able to be with us today. So just really quickly, this was just some of the highlights that she put in for her 2025 look back. We did transition to Nectar, which is our appreciation, recognition, and encouragement platform for our team members, which is they have opportunities to earn points, and then they cash in or redeem those points. The cool thing is with the Nectar program, they go right on Amazon and redeem their points for whatever their little hearts desire, and it gets shipped right to the house. It's amazing. So that was great. We implemented a new background check vendor, which improved efficiency. Of course, any potential team member that wants to come on board, we want to do a thorough background check. We improved our PRN compensation. PRN is as needed team members, meaning they are not full-time or part-time. They're sort of in a pool and get called upon when we have open shifts. So we needed to stay marketable within the competitors out there. But what's most exciting to me is this last bullet, which is that we shifted from a sign-on bonus to a loyalty bonus. This is something we've heard from our team members, right? I've been here 20 years, and Denise comes in and gets hired today and makes the same as me. Right? That kind of tanks morale. But how we do things here is based on years of experience. But that just always didn't feel great to know that I've been here for so long and someone coming in is making the same as me. So we shifted the budget for the sign-on bonuses. Sign-on bonus was something that was really prevalent during COVID, to stay out there and competitive with everyone else, right? Everybody was just throwing tons of money for sign-on bonuses. We are standing firm and saying, hey, we're not doing that anymore. And we want to take those dollars and shift it to loyalty. So previously, if I worked here at Menno Haven, I worked and stayed here for a year, I got a little bonus. I'd get another bonus at year 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, blah, blah, blah. Now you are going to get that bonus year 1, year 3, year 5, year 7, year 10, year 13, 15, so on, so on, so on. So it'll come around a lot quicker. And we adjusted the rates of the bonuses as well. So I'm ecstatic about this opportunity, and I'm proud of us for being brave to say, hey, we're not doing that sign-on bonus. We're not like everybody else. Once you're here, we want to really take care of the folks that are here. Okay. All right, Denise, you're up. I think. Oh, well, see, Tori had some more. So benefits and wellness, Ryan talked about we transitioned from a different health insurance provider. We hosted the first cancer awareness event. We blew up our safety workers' compensation group. This is Denise over here on a chair showing everyone what not to do. And so really kind of tearing apart team members who sat on a safety committee and really relit that fire. Now they go out and they tour different areas looking for things that potentially are unsafe. And it's really lit the fire there, which is really, really great. So if I can get my words out, Team Services actually created a toolkit, and that toolkit was used internally to train all of our directors and managers and supervisors, specific things like what to and how to fill out the paperwork if Denise falls off the chair. Right? Or how to properly fill out the paperwork when we have to have those hard conversations when somebody has an attendance issue, or how to have those hard conversations when someone's not living up to our dress code. So it was an internal foundational toolkit that was developed by our team and implemented to all the supervisors. Okay, now Denise, you can go up there safely.
Oh yeah, I need all this equipment. Yeah, so yeah. I am going to move up here safely. I'm using the handrail, as everyone can see and attest. All right, so my slides are all about what you need to know. So we have heard from our residents, a handful of residents, about our movie theater and how the movies are played. And so beginning in March, we are planning to go back to the future kind of and just be able to not see the same movie in the 9:30 time slot every single day, because that's how it was kind of set up. So beginning in March, the movie schedule will look like this in the Haven Connect. And the movies run on Tuesdays through Sundays, same time frame, 9:30, 1:30, and 6:45. But in order to read this, let's look at the first week, March 3 through 8, Tuesdays and Friday at 9:30. Little Women will play on both Tuesday and Friday at 9:30. Mamma Mia will be playing at 1:30 on Tuesday and Friday. And Steel Magnolias will be playing at 6:45. So it's just a new way for you to take a look at it. We'll still have the write-ups about what's going on with the movie itself, the little summary of it. We'll see how this works out. We talked about going with a QR code, but I kind of nixed that and said I'm not sure we're ready to be there in that technology yet for everyone. So if you've been at Coffee and Conversation, you will have heard me say that we have hired a marketing data coordinator. So Cheyenne Rutledge was previously a senior living advisor here, and she is ready to come back to work kind of part-time, and we were able to kind of secure her to come back in as our data coordinator. In her role, she will be supporting the future communication enhancements that we talk about, that emergency preparedness system, mass communication tool. We talked a lot about the resident app being interactive, getting our data integrity in check. Her role will be to help us to clean things up initially, and then to set standards in place so that we can have regular updates of information, and then a very fluid transition as we put new technology in place. Okay. The next slide is going to talk to you about, many of you newer residents to Menno Haven came in under our Happy Place campaign. We are taking that to the next chapter here at Menno Haven. So it is to build brand awareness, meet new consumer expectations for what life after 60 looks like. So you'll be seeing billboards throughout the marketplace that have this new design, new photos, a little bit of a freshener, along with a video campaign. I'm going to show you 3 clips of the video campaigns that we're going to be using within social media, on our website, and as TV commercials. So we'll go with the first one.
For Ed and Margaret, finding the right retirement community wasn't just about a place to live. It was about finding a place where they could truly thrive with connection and peace of mind. After visiting other communities, Menno Haven stood apart because of thoughtful amenities and a true sense of independence. Here, Ed has easy access to physical therapy, social groups, and rediscovering his love for the piano. Margaret stays active with morning coffee with friends, gardening, and exercise classes. At Menno Haven, community means never feeling alone, and it's that sense of belonging that gives them peace of mind, knowing Ed and Margaret are living confidently. Menno Haven, more than a retirement community, a place to thrive together.
And our second.
Joan didn't come to Menno Haven to press pause. She came to press play on everything she loves. From water aerobics 3 times a week to neighborhood gatherings, this is a life filled with community and connection. Joan's found her perfect balance of comfort and purpose, thriving in a place where you can do as little or as much as you like. She calls Menno Haven a place where neighbors are friends and team members feel like family. Because Menno Haven provides worry-free living and peace of mind, Joan's children can be certain she is well cared for, so they never have to worry about her well-being. This season of life is finally hers, and at Menno Haven, she's exactly where she wants to be.
And we have one more.
After 30 years in the same house, Bonnie and Steve were ready for a new chapter, one that felt more like freedom than retirement. They knew Menno Haven well. Bonnie's father and Steve's sister loved it so much. What started as 3 years of thinking about it for them turned into 14 months of, why didn't we do this sooner? From morning walks to trivia nights and coffee dates, they both found a community that brings them joy. Here, Bonnie finally has time to make things grow. Built on decades of trust, Menno Haven is a place where team members are friendly and opportunities are endless. Come see why Bonnie and Steve love where they live. Menno Haven. Live confidently.
All right. So we thank residents for always sharing your stories with us. Our Happy Place campaign featured our residents actually speaking for themselves. With this next chapter, we decided to take their stories and condense them into little mini movies. To add some more dramatic background music to them, utilizing our brand new logo as well. So next chapter just kind of feels like a nice transition from my happy place to my next chapter. So you'll be seeing these. If you're on social media, you'll probably be seeing some clips of those. Xfinity is Comcast TV, and then other places where we can just take little snippets of them, and then definitely billboards throughout the community. So Mel and Casey Helm did a really great job of helping us move into our next chapter of marketing. So another thing I want to talk to you about is the Design Center. So many of you, as you came into Menno Haven, you made selections on personalizing your cottage, villa, or apartment. So the boutique, the auxiliary, vacated from the boutique here in the Life Center. And with the number of visitors that we have, the programs that we have like IRP that are bringing non-residents into our space, we thought that it would be a good idea to utilize the boutique area as our design center. So we're going to be moving the design center from embedded within the marketing department downstairs, so that as people are traversing through this building, maybe going to the grill, maybe meeting friends that are maybe not necessarily residents of Menno Haven, will see that and get a little excited about what's happening in that design center. So we are also streamlining a little bit the selections process, coming up with some packages as a starting point. We have found that that makes things a little bit easier for people as they're making selections. And we're also going to be adding some technology into the design selection as well. So there's more to come on that, but just as you see things happening in the boutique, we wanted to let you know that that's coming. Jody Hershey will still be heading up this as our moving coordinator, so nothing changes there. And a lot of what we're doing is based on good stewardship, making sure that we have good quality products that are never build or grade. So we already start at a higher tier than most other communities, but we also want to have an eye for keeping within cost control per Ryan. Okay. Next, I want to talk to you about Franklin Square Commons. We had purchased 3 of the units over there, and as of January, all 3 are now occupied. We are in the process of closing on 2 more units, one at 405 Benjamin Drive, the other at 412 Deborah Court, and those closings will take place between now and the end of the month, at which time we'll go in, we'll assess what needs to be done in them, and then we'll start marketing them to our prospects and our Now Club. Okay? And then lastly, I think you guys want always a report card on how are we doing in the sales and marketing of independent living. Well, I'm happy to say that today we're at 94.2% full occupancy in independent living. In Q1, we have 10 planned move-ins, 5 of which have already occurred as of January 31st. We have 5 more to happen between now and the end of March, and we have 6 contracted units with move-ins scheduled for Q2. Right now today, if somebody comes into the marketing office, we have 2 units available that have not been contracted for yet. One is a Brookview cottage with reserved parking. One is a cottage over at Chambers Point. So that's the inventory that's available today. We do have line of sight to many units that may be releasing to us here in the next coming days. I just want to remind everybody that a unit is not available to the marketing department until the resident releases that unit back to Menno Haven. So while you may see some neighbors aren't in a unit or have definitely vacated from it, until that unit is turned back over to Menno Haven, we cannot market it. Okay, and so we don't count that as part of our unoccupied inventory. All right, Roger, you're up next. You're going to bring us home.
Hang in there. How about this? I'm not as coordinated as some and run the microphone and the clicker at the same time. Bear with me. All right, so in keeping with our notable accomplishments of 2025, I just wanted to give a quick update on some of the various happenings at some of the areas that I have influence over. So starting off with our Brookview Healthcare Center, we had talked earlier about the rehab center being certified as an age-friendly health system, but now Brookview Healthcare Center and Chambers Point Healthcare Center have all achieved that distinction from the John Hartford Foundation and the Institute for Healthcare Improvement. So that's kind of a nice little feather in their cap. You see Patricia Byerly, the Director of Nursing from Brookview Healthcare Center, sitting there among the balloons. Part of our plan for succession planning is that we are always interested in keeping the best and the brightest of our team members here and trying to create that career path for them. So to that end, we've invested in Patricia, and she has recently completed the nursing home administrator course that is required before she sets for licensure. So we're really proud of her for that. And, someday down the road, 4, 5, 10 years from now, Roz will probably retire, and we'd like to have Patricia in place in the event that that happens. Also, the Brookview Healthcare Center had returned to their CMS 5-star status overall. As you may recall, 3 years ago or so, I talked to you about a situation that resulted in some citations and deficiencies down at the healthcare center. And while it takes about 30 seconds to lose that 5-star status, it takes 3 years to build it back. So we're really proud that they were able to do that. They also were able to decrease the psychoactive medication use year over year. That's one of the things that they work very hard at. And as well as they redoubled their focus on person-first education and training for their teams while they were working on recuperating from the flood. So there's a lot going on there at Brookview, but they've done a fantastic job. Chambers Point Healthcare Center, this year they really have restructured their core leadership team. So you'll see if you were at the Cocoa Crawl last week or 2 weeks ago, I don't know what it was anymore, you probably saw a few new faces there, and so they are really doing some good things. Also, at the beginning of the year, you may recall that we transitioned from 60 rooms to down to 50, increasing our private room count from 8 to 18. So, we know that there's only going to be more demand for those private rooms, as I think any of us would like in the future. So we're really happy that we were able to get that on the board. Down at the Menno Haven Rehab Center, they, again, are clicking along just fine. Jen Strunk, the Director of Nursing there, likewise, like Patricia Byerly, we sponsored her through the Nursing Home Administrator course, and they're both about ready to set for their licensure. One of the really big things that may impact any number of us in the future here is that the Rehab Center was selected by WellSpan to participate in a CMS-sponsored 3-day waiver program. So what that means is that if for example, you fell, broke your hip, God forbid, and were in the hospital, you would be required to have 3 overnight stays in an inpatient status before you could come to the Menno Haven Rehab Center for your therapy services for it to be covered under your Medicare benefit. But under this pilot waiver, we are now able to, if WellSpan deems the person eligible, you could move directly from your physician's appointment, from the emergency room, from just an overnight stay in the hospital, into the Menno Haven Rehab Center, and your therapy services and your rehabilitative services would be covered under your Part A benefit. So we've had 2 people who have already taken advantage of that waiver program, and we hope to do a lot more. So that's really exciting. They've also been designated as a top performer by WellSpan in their post-acute care network for the last 2 months or 2 quarters consecutively. And they also like to point out that they've exceeded admissions year over year from last year to this year. They had 608 admissions in 2024, and they're proud to tell us that they had 609 admissions in 2025. So, way to set that bar high. We're expecting 610 minimally. Those of you who've been down to the Chambers Point Personal Care Center lately, you'll notice that first floor refurbishment, including their dining room and the relocation of the auxiliary store. It looks really fresh and new down there. It's lovely. They've done a fantastic job. All the while, they've maintained a strong census year over year. They've also implemented, as has the Brookview Personal Care Center, a monthly newsletter that is really focused on the personal care residents. They'll get the Haven Connect, and sometimes they'll see a lot of those offerings for the leisure outings and things that they may not be able to go to. So they've really incorporated more of the things that they are able to attend and bring that into their newsletter. And also, I know we talked earlier about the administrator there, that Deb Scheffler is kind of battling her own personal cancer journey with colon cancer. And the team at the Chambers Point Personal Care Center has really supported her well through that. She is doing well. We're anticipating her back on the job in the next 3 weeks, probably. I know she's going to come out and say hi to us all on Thursday, but the team really rallied around her and has done a fantastic job. Likewise, Jody Plaster, the administrator at the Brookview Personal Care Center, among her other duties, she has stepped in to support Deb over at the Manor as well, so we want to thank her for that. All the while, she and her team did have time for a Bahamian cruise with residents and team members, and I was skeptical about that, the ability for, because a lot of the folks who were able to go on that cruise, they need support and assistance with their activities of daily living, but between Jody and her team, they did a fantastic job. I was surprised that they want to do it again this fall, so they're going to take a northeastern cruise this fall, and I may have to go along on that one just to watch them, just to supervise, just to make sure that they're doing okay. This group also initiated some team member morale building events. They chartered a bus and took everybody to New York City, and that was pretty cool. So they're always doing things to really enhance the team member as well as resident experience there. So we're really excited for that. Memory homes, this is a very rare occurrence, and I don't recall seeing one in my 10-year tenure here. But they experienced a deficiency-free annual survey from DHS, so they're really proud of that. We don't really measure our quality of care based on those survey outcomes, but it's always nice when you can do what you need to do without having to look over your shoulder to make sure that you're dotting all your I's and crossing your T's. They continue to be in high demand and have exceeded all their census expectations. They, too, take a lot of good trips promoting quality of life for everyone that's a part of that family. They were at Lake Tobias. I got to drive the bus out for that. That was a great time and a picnic. They're out at Devil's Den in Gettysburg, and one of Tiffany's favorite photos is on your left there. This is Dolly Parton Day, and that's Sean Keelholtz, one of the activities folks who was channeling her inner Dolly. Elder Day. Never a dull moment at Elder Day. If you ever go over there, they're always doing something. They have reopened in 2025 for those 4 days. January 1st, they're opened 5 days. They're still working to build that census. It's coming, but it's going to be slow. That's why we're looking for some grants to help support people who might not otherwise be able to afford to go to Elder Day, to grant them some additional days and to open it up to a broader community. And lastly, Branch Creek Place. They were a service center site for our Martin Luther King Day of Service. Last year, we repainted that entire interior. This is really one of those things that it's a mission for us. We're not making any money by sponsoring Branch Creek Place. But if you're ever there and you see that the benefit to the folks who attend the center, you'd see why it was worth it. They work very hard to support themselves as well. The Easter egg fundraisers, you probably had a few of those eggs in the last year or so. That fundraiser topped $10,000 profit last year. And Diana emailed me this morning and says she's got 200 eggs ready to go. So be looking for them at all of the fine dining establishments around Menno Haven and elsewhere. And as Chuck said, we're also working on some grants, for them. There's a lot of work that could be done on that old A&P grocery store that they're in now. Like he said, the bathrooms are not ADA qualified, and they're HVAC, and there's a lot of things that need some attention, but we're hopeful that those grants are going to help us out. And very last thing, Thank you to those who supported Branch Creek Place by going on the Leisure Coordinator trip to the casino. The Parks Casino is operating table games now. They were required to do a 2-day trial without, while the Gaming Commission was keeping an eye on them, making sure they were doing it all right. And they chose Branch Creek Place as a recipient of the proceeds from that, from those 2 days. And so they were able to raise $3,500 for Branch Creek Place. Most of that, I think, was Tiffany. It would have been more, but Ryan out there, he was a winner. So, and likewise, they do a quarterly bingo, and January they netted $1,900 from bingo, probably also thanks to Tiffany, but they are always working hard to be self-sufficient, but they do really appreciate everything we do for them. I believe that's it for me. Ooh.
Woo! This was a big one, y'all. Thank you. We try to keep it to an hour, but we had so much to talk about. I do want to give you an opportunity for any questions. I know you need to probably shift around in your chairs a little bit.
Well,
You can just.
well,
How about you just?
I'm not doing too good here.
How about you just sit right there and
Well,
talk in the mic?
Why not?
Let's do that.
Thank you. Okay, I wanted to bring to the attention of all the residents here that next Monday in the health center just down the hill, the Brookview Health Center, there will be a Valentine's Day party for the registered nurses and nurse assistants. And I'm suggesting that all residents who appreciate the work the nurses do to send a card, a Valentine, to the nurses, and you could either address it registered nurse or nurse assistant, and you don't have to pay postage to send it through campus mail. And so that's important because it might be the last barrier that keeps somebody from sending a card to the very important and precious nurses that support residents when they go for health care in the health center. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Don. Okay.
Tiffany, while you're close, I just want to give kudos to Menno Haven for the awesome chocolate crawl. It was just so impressive. Thank you very much.
It was. Cocoa Crawl was great.
Okay. I just want to have Carol and Tyler. Please go to the front of the room, please. They're not in trouble. I want to say something nice. Where's Tyler? He's oh. Anyway, I don't know if all of you realize this, but last Thursday, Carol and Tyler delivered the mail for everybody. They delivered the Haven Connect, and I also got the new address label, and there might have been other things also. They did both campuses, Chambers Point and Brookview, and it was freezing cold. They were in and out of the van. They did a wonderful job, and I would like you all in the next few days to give them a shout out on the portal because they deserve it. And if you can stand right now, I would like you to stand and give them a standing ovation for their hard work.
I walked 8 miles that day.
Can I speak or not?
Absolutely.
It's good to be here. I'm Wayne Yeager, and I'm on the board, but I just thank you, residents, for being a big part of Menno Haven. The other one is I want to just say a thank you to Tiffany and Roger and Chuck and all the senior team, Denise and Ryan, and certainly to Lori. And the service that they give to Menno Haven is outstanding. I don't know if you all see it. They work tirelessly and endlessly, and there's nothing too big or too hard for them to tackle. So I just think we give them all a big hand and appreciate everything they do for Menno Haven. Thank you.
Thank you. Other things on your mind?
Tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of Boxercise at Menno Haven. So if you have any interest in that, join us downstairs in the Village Square and have a good, fun time while you're working out.
Bring your gloves. I heard a theme song recently. It's pretty cool from Boxercise. Pretty cool. All right, slowly and comfortably make your way out the exits. Don't rush. I know you need to stretch. Grab a cookie. If you're not comfortable speaking out in the group, please come see me. Leadership will hang out for a little bit. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.